Hey everybody. For my field research project, I decided to focus on the raptors, turkey vultures. Um, these birds, these raptors, there's not a lot of research done. I've come to realize the one article I was looking at, the author, she believes that the reason why there's not so much research done on these very interesting and to me pretty raptors is because they don't have the cute and fuzzy, you know, face. So they're kind of skimmed over. We like to look at sparrows and chickadees and the cute fuzzy kind of birds. But these birds, they are packed with symbolism. They are the most migratory bird in this area. Um, I mean, March and April right now, it's a very good time to go out and see them. They are everywhere. I take a walk, down the road, and I've seen at least like one or two. Sometimes I've seen a whole, group of them. So um, let's get into it. So originally, my guiding question for research was, why are there so many turkey vultures at Presque Isle? And just kind of having this mindset, I went into it, and then the question immediately became, why are there so many vultures near large bodies of water? So a lot of research was done at Presque Isle and also at the east of Boat Launch. Both of these places are close to me. Presque Isle is a little more farther from where I am, but it's always I always love going to Presque Isle, so it's not an issue. Thing keeps acting up. There we are. So, um, social behavior was different at different locations. So, with the bodies of water versus the land, near the bodies of water, particularly at the east of boat launch, there were many turkey vultures roosting and also soaring and circling above. And with just in the land, like if I just take a walk down the street to my grandma's house, um, they're always soaring. I've never taken a walk um, or been to in more of an urban area. I've never seen turkey vultures just roost, um, just in an urban setting. So they're always soaring. From taking a walk, they're always soaring ahead. They're going somewhere. I don't know where they're going, but they're not hanging out. They're not roosting. So I've used this peer-reviewed journal. It's called, the title is Effects of Habitat and Time of Day on Flock Size of Turkey Vultures. The study was done in Cuba, but there are some similarities that we can um, take um, even in this area. Sorry, I have to cover the title. Um, so the article basically said that they obviously they feed on carrion and they are also recognized as foraging opportunists. So they make use of various food sources. They're not picky. Obviously, they prefer meat, um, the carrion, but they're not picky. They have to eat. They have to live. So in order for them to obviously survive, um, the article mostly focused on urban areas versus landscapes dominated by agriculture. I didn't go to any place here in Erie that would be considered an agriculture spot, but I made the comparison of wooded areas where there are many trees. These areas aren't always going to be disturbed by human. So, in agriculture, there's someone who tends to the land and who takes care of the land, and oftentimes there's domestic animals. But I made the similarity as there's not always going to be that disturbance of human interaction. Yes, we could go into the wooded areas. We have we can go in, but people aren't always going into those wooded areas just to so those spots might make good um, good spots for food, for to roost, for possibility of nesting. And turkey vultures will also make use of what is available. Like I said, they're not going to. Um, they have to eat. Um, So I just kind of use the similarity of um, much human disturbance versus not so much human disturbance. Obviously, in an urban area like where I live, you know, there's not turkey vultures roosting. There's a lot of human disturbance. But where the wooded areas are, within Presque Isle and within and near the boat launch, those aren't going to be heavily disturbed by humans. A continuation of the article. Location of carrion is important. That is basically what this article is saying. I highlighted important things. So right here, flock size is related to habitat and suggests the availability of carrion. So the bigger the flock, the bigger, the more, the more food sources are available. So in this study, they said that they found large flocks near domestic animal farms and in river valleys where carrion of large animals is frequently available. So for my own field research, urban versus wooded areas near water, Presque Isle and the boat launch versus Roma Park. I also went to Roma Park and my neighborhood just on my walks. While Roma Park is a wooded area, there is no body of water. So what about the large bodies of water? So what is the point? Why are there so many turkey vultures? Not just within Presque Isle, but also within the East Ave boat launch. Why are the turkey vultures roosting? You know that I witnessed, that I observed at the boat launch. So um, I did more research. I have a couple more peer-reviewed journals I found. So environmental factors at varying locations. Do bodies of water equal food sources? Is there, like I touched a little bit, less chance of disturbance by humans? And at Presque Isle and the boat launch, there were many trees near the water. Could these be potential nesting sites? This thing. Okay. Environmental factors and their influence. This source, turkey vultures have peculiar nesting habits, study finds. In this peer-reviewed journal, turkey vultures do not build nests. They actually use hollow trees, dead or alive, in the sun or the shade. They just use hollow trees. So at Presque Isle and the East Ave boat launch, there's so many trees, especially Presque Isle. In Presque Isle, trees, hidden away that no one really ventures in. So these could be very good um, nesting habits. So the vultures lay their eggs within the trees and they do not build nests. Like I said, they literally have to shimmy themselves up and down vertically. So I read this. I had to read it twice because I was like, why? What? So I guess two things that I thought of why they might do this. It's hidden away from predators, and if it's difficult for the parents to get in, so why would a predator bother? Plus, bald eagles, another raptor close to them, um, they build the typical cup-shaped nests, at the tops of trees. So they're yes, while it is it's high in the trees, it's a visible target. Maybe it's easier, why bother shimmying myself down a tree? That's got to be difficult. I mean, the vultures have a 6 foot wingspan. That can't be easy. So why waste the energy? And you can't even see them. They might smell them, but even that would be like a stretch. This thing. Oh, this picture I took. As you can tell, I'm not a photographer, but I use this filter because it outlines the white silvery parts near the tips of the wings. So that's cool. Environmental factors continued. Turkey vultures are the most migratory of all vultures. That was the other journal, peer-reviewed, not peer-reviewed, but website I used, that focused on raptors. Not just trees they use, but this article said that they use logs, caves, crevices. I know at Presque Isle there are many natural-made caves and crevices that would be perfect um, nesting habits for turkey vultures for their young. And then, according to Wikipedia, they're not always credible, but I just found this that, I mean, what, be neutral about. Turkey vultures stay near large bodies of water because dead fish wash up on the shore. So, bingo, they're potential food source. And for me, it was observed at the East Ave boat launch that there was a generous group of turkey vultures roosting in the trees right by the shore opposite of me. And like I said, not only were they roosting in the trees, but they were also soaring and circling. So there might have been, possible food, like, oh, we see food. And, roosting, they're waiting to spot something for themselves. So my own data, eBird data, I did 17 checklists, and I have 108 individual turkey vultures. My camera is in the way. I'm just gonna put that there. So data mining on eBird, November 2019 to January 2020. No sightings, not really. No spots, no hot spots, except for this little one here. And that's not even really an Erie, but there was one of something. Moving on, February of 2020 to March of 2020. So that's just, the whole 2 months. So over here, I don't know why my thing got cut off, but there are many hotspots and many sightings. Clearly, migration is in action. Look at all of Presque Isle. I mean, I think there's like 6 different hotspots or 7, and then there's a bunch of different random sightings of them. This screenshot was just of March of 2020. Some of this is from me when I went to Presque Isle. Right here is the boat launch. I don't think I went to the boat launch till April, so that might not be me. But I was here in Presque Isle and then over here in this area because I live around here. And I live near the Bayfront connector, and they were also seen there. And April of 2020, the highlighted spots are my own that I also contributed to. I ventured to the 2 hotspots, like I said, Presque Isle, which isn't shown in here for some reason. Here it is. I don't know why I did that. And the East Ave boat launch, which is right here. At Presque Isle, I observed six turkey vultures on March 26th. And at the East Ave boat launch, I observed 21 on April 2nd. So that included some that I saw soaring, some that I saw roosting in the trees near the water line. Oddities of sightings. On my walks, usually I would see, 1 or 2, sometimes 3 or 4 soaring over. And then there would be weird times where I would see 15 turkey vultures soaring around near my grandmother's. I saw 16 turkey vultures on the way to, I had a doctor's appointment last week, and there were 16 of them soaring over the Veterans Memorial Stadium on State Street. So I was like, this is literally an urban area. There's no water, there's trees, but they're not like wooded, a lot of trees, or, there's sparse. So there were 16 of them, and then by my apartment, the first time I ever observed them, I flew over my apartment, there was 12 of them. So some weird, some weird data. Of course, I had to throw this in, more symbolism maybe. So obviously, it's the migration and breeding season. This is the true reason why we are seeing these magnificent raptors. But for me, personally, this is the first time I've ever seen these birds. And I emailed Dr. Campbell about this. I literally, months ago, I had a dream that there were turkey vultures soaring over my house. And then the first time I ever see them, they're literally soaring over my house. So I was like, so I had to, it was funny because I was so freaked out when I first saw them. But I told Dr. Campbell, and he was like, yeah, it's it's their own interpretation. But obviously, like I said, the real reason we're seeing them is because it is migration. It's not just because of some weird, end of times. But also kind of symbolic to the weird state the world is in right now. With COVID-19, we're kind of being quarantined, and the symbolism of the good and the bad within quarantine. So I just had to throw it in. I did a whole seminar on it. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope you all, are doing well. Bye.